So let's just say, because reading books is something that I've completely changed. I never read before, but now I'm just digesting a lot of books and getting tons of information out there that's helping me as a father, as an entrepreneur, and everything in between. What kind of books could you recommend fathers that will help them better understand what they should eat and get a good understanding of how they can plan their meals?
Books are hard. It's hard for me to recommend a book because a lot of them are selling a diet. Like most of the popular books out there are selling like one diet or the other, and they're missing information. There's a lot of authors that I can recommend. Joel Furman. He read some really good books. He's a vegan though, so you have to kind of take it with context. He's biased towards veganism. There's another guy, Mark Hyman, that writes a lot of good books. That he's kind of an advocate of the paleo movement, so he kind of is biased towards that direction. So that's the problem with most books, is they don't really. I've never seen a book, and I'm actually planning to write one in the next year, that has given people both sides. Has said, okay, like for example, coconut oil. That's been in the news recently because some professor said that it was poison. Coconut oil is harmful, can be harmful for people who have high cholesterol because it drives cholesterol up, and cholesterol does lead to heart disease if you have high cholesterol particles in your blood. But it also has antifungal, antibacterial properties, and it positively affects the immune system. So there's two sides to the story with pretty much everything, and most people aren't telling both sides. So those two authors, I like. They're the closest to the middle of like really being open-minded towards other, not being a vegan, and open-minded towards really not following the very high-fat life. So that's a good balance. I haven't found a good book that really covers, the whole spectrum of like really helping people figure out where to eat from without the bias behind it. So it's hard for me to recommend that there. I highly recommend checking out my podcast though. So obviously most of you listen to podcasts. I do 15-minute show 5 days a week. I'm actually starting to do some interview shows. It'll be about 30 minutes, but that's where you can really learn very quickly a lot of different topics and exactly my philosophy, what you need to be eating, different smoothie recipes, talk about snack ideas, talk about different specific health conditions like GI issues. So, if you are dealing with constipation, I have an episode on constipation, but it's not geared towards kids. So there's a little bit different recommendations there. But yeah, so that's another place that I would highly recommend checking out, is just checking out my podcast, and it's called Your Nutrition Prescription.
Excellent, thanks for that. And I guess you just have to come out with your book real quick so we can get that one. I love to combine my learning intake, so to say, with podcasts, reading books, and also watching videos on YouTube.